Before we begin, pause for just a second. If you want stories like this to keep finding you, then like and hit the subscribe button. And leave a comment telling me where you're watching from and what time it is right now. Now, turn the lights down, stay very still, and let the shadows take over. No one remembers exactly when the clown first showed up. That's the strangest part. When people talk about him now, everyone swears he was always around. Like background noise. Like a street light you walk past every day and never really look at. But when I think back, I can pinpoint the first time I noticed him. It was early October. Cold enough that your breath showed in the mornings, but not cold enough for snow yet. I just moved back to my hometown after failing out of community college. Small town in Washington State. Quiet. Boring. Safe. Or at least that's what I thought. The flyer was taped to the grocery store door. Fall family fun day. Games. Snacks. Balloon animals. Special guest. A clown. I remember laughing at that. A clown felt weirdly outdated. Like something from the 80s. But parents loved anything free, so the event was packed. I volunteered to help set up. Mostly because I had nothing better to do. He was already there when I arrived. Standing near the playground. Not performing. Not waving kids over. Just standing. He wasn't dressed like a normal clown. No bright rainbow wig. No loud patterns. His suit was dull. Faded reds and yellows, like it had been washed too many times. The makeup looked rushed. White paint uneven. The smile drawn slightly crooked, like his hand had slipped. I remember thinking he looked tired. When a kid ran up to him asking for a balloon dog, the clown paused. Stared at the kid's face for a second too long. Then slowly nodded. He didn't joke. Didn't entertain. Just twisted the balloon into shape and handed it over. The kid smiled. The parents didn't seem to notice anything off. That bothered me. During the event, I saw him everywhere. Always a few steps away. Always watching. When kids laughed too loudly, his head tilted. When one cried, he leaned closer, almost curious. I finally worked up the nerve to talk to him. "Hey," I said. "You with the entertainment company?" He looked at me. Really looked at me. Up close, his eyes were wrong. Not evil. Not angry. Just empty. Like a mannequin's. Like he was focusing on something behind me instead. "I don't work for anyone," he said. His voice was calm. Flat. No attempt at humor. I laughed awkwardly. "So, you freelance?" He didn't respond. A kid tugged on his sleeve. He turned away from me immediately, attention snapping to the child like a switch had flipped. That should have been my cue to walk away. Instead, I stayed. Over the next few weeks, he kept appearing. Birthday parties. School events. Church fundraisers. Always invited by someone. Always booked by a friend of a friend. But no one could ever remember who hired him. I started asking questions. Parents would shrug. "We thought the school handled it." The school said the PTA booked him. The PTA said he volunteered. The clown never asked for money. That made people trust him more. One night, my neighbor Karen knocked on my door. Her son had just had a birthday party. "You were there, right?" she asked. "The clown, what was his name again?" I opened my mouth, then stopped. I couldn't remember. That night I had a dream. I was standing in front of a mirror trying to wipe makeup off my face. No matter how hard I scrubbed, it wouldn't come off. Under the white paint, my skin wasn't skin anymore. It was something stiff, something cracked. I woke up sweating. The next day, a post appeared in the local Facebook group. "Has anyone else seen the clown around town late at night?" People replied with laughing emojis, jokes, memes. But one comment stood out. He stood outside my house for 10 minutes last night. Didn't knock. Didn't move. Just watched. The post was deleted an hour later. By the end of October, kids started changing. Parents said their children practiced smiling in mirrors. Too long. Too wide. Some kids refused to wash their faces. One little girl told her mom, "He says faces are important. You shouldn't waste them." That was the night I decided to find out who the clown really was. And that was the moment everything went wrong. After that Facebook post vanished, the town went quiet in a way that didn't feel normal. Not peaceful. Careful. People stopped joking about the clown. They stopped mentioning him at all, like saying his name might invite him closer. Parents still took their kids to events, but they hovered more. Watched corners. Checked exits. And still, he showed up. The first time I knew something was seriously wrong was at the elementary school. I wasn't supposed to be there. I was dropping off donation boxes for a winter drive. The office was empty, lights dimmed, halls quiet except for the hum of heaters. That's when I saw him. He was standing at the end of the hallway near the classrooms. No kids. No parents. No event. Just him. His costume looked cleaner than before. Less faded. The red brighter. The smile sharper. Like he was improving. I froze. "School's closed," I said, my voice echoing too loud. He turned his head slowly. "I know," he said. I swallowed. "Then why are you?" "I'm early," he interrupted. He stepped closer. His shoes didn't squeak on the tile. Didn't make any sound at all. "Early for what?" I asked. He leaned in slightly as if sharing a secret. "For when they start listening." I left the boxes where they were and walked out without looking back. My hands were shaking so badly I dropped my keys twice. That night I couldn't sleep. Around 2 a.m. my phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. "Do you remember me?" I didn't respond. Another message came seconds later. "You looked at me differently." I blocked the number. The next morning my phone gallery was full of new photos. Blurry. Dark. Taken from outside. Photos of my house. Photos of my front door. One photo of my living room window, lights off, curtains half open. And in the reflection, white paint. A crooked smile. I went to the police. They took my statement. Nodded. Asked if I'd been stressed lately. Asked if I'd been drinking. When I mentioned the clown, one officer exchanged a look with the other. "You're not the first," he said quietly. They showed me a photo. An old one. Black and white. Taken decades ago. A community event. Kids lined up. And in the background, the same clown. Same suit. Same posture. Same crooked smile. "No name?" I asked. "No records," the officer said. "He doesn't exist on paper." That week, the town uncovered something worse. Old home videos. Scrapbooks. Yearbooks. The clown appeared across decades. Same face. Same clothes. Never aging. Always near children. Always just outside focus. One man recognized him from his childhood. Swore the clown had attended his 6th birthday party. That birthday had been 32 years ago. The next incident pushed everything over the edge. A boy named Lucas went missing. Last seen walking home from school. His backpack was found neatly placed on his porch. Shoes lined up beside it. No signs of struggle. His bedroom mirror was covered in white handprints. Written across the glass in red marker were the words, "He smiles better now." The town went into panic mode. Curfews. Police patrols. School closures. That's when the clown stopped hiding. Security cameras caught him standing in empty parks at night. On playground swings. In parking lots. On people's front lawns. Always smiling. Always still. Parents reported their children talking in their sleep, practicing jokes they'd never heard before, practicing smiles. One mother caught her daughter standing in front of the mirror at 3 a.m., stretching her mouth wider with her fingers. When asked why, the girl said, "He said I'll need it." I received another message. This time it wasn't text. It was a video, shot from inside my house, from my hallway. I watched myself sleeping. Then the camera tilted. The clown leaned into frame. Up close, his makeup was cracked. Beneath it, something pale and wrong pressed outward like it didn't fit the shape it was wearing. He whispered one sentence. "You're watching now." I didn't sleep after that, because I knew something terrifying. The clown wasn't pretending anymore. And he wasn't just visiting. He was preparing. The first thing people noticed wasn't another disappearance. It was the forgetting. A woman stood in the grocery store aisle, staring at a cereal box, crying quietly. When someone asked if she was okay, she said she couldn't remember how many children she had. Not lost. Just couldn't remember. School records started changing. Class photos had gaps where students should have been. Attendance sheets listed names no one recognized. Teachers swore they'd taught certain kids for months, yet their faces were gone from memory like erased chalk. And every time someone tried to force the memory back, their nose would bleed. The town therapist quit after 3 days. Left a note on her desk that read, "Some memories are being eaten." That's when they found the room. It was in the old Civic Center, a building no one used anymore. The clown had been seen near it several times, standing across the street at night, facing the doors like he was waiting to be invited in. Police broke in after a janitor reported hearing laughter echoing from inside, high childish laughter, despite the building being empty. Behind a locked maintenance door, they discovered a crawl space. Inside were mirrors. Dozens of them, all different sizes, all mounted at child height, and scratched into the walls, written over and over again in uneven letters. "Smile so he can see you. Smile so you don't disappear." In the center of the room sat a crate filled with party favors. Deflated balloons, cracked plastic whistles, red noses, each one labeled with a name. Most of the names belonged to children who were now missing. A few belonged to adults. One of them was mine. I don't remember ever meeting him before this town, but the mirrors said otherwise. When the police showed me the footage they recovered, my stomach dropped. It was from a home video dated 20 years ago. A birthday party. A younger version of me stood in front of a cake, grinning nervously. And behind me, one hand resting on my shoulder, the clown. Same face, same smile. I asked my parents. They went pale. They told me I'd had an imaginary friend as a kid, a clown. They said I used to talk to him at night. Said I'd practice jokes in the mirror. Said I'd laugh in my sleep. Then one day I stopped, and I never mentioned him again. That night I dreamed of the mirrors. I stood in front of one, but my reflection lagged behind my movements. When I smiled, it smiled wider. When I tried to look away, it grabbed my face from inside the glass. I woke up with red paint smeared across my mouth. Except I don't own red paint. The town unraveled fast after that. Children began losing their reflections. Parents reported mirrors showing empty rooms while their kids stood right in front of them. Photos developed with faces blurred or missing entirely. A local news anchor froze mid-broadcast, eyes wide, then calmly said, "I don't remember my son's name." The feed cut. Then the clown appeared in daylight. Not hiding. Not watching. Performing. He stood in the town square, juggling in silence while people gathered without realizing why they were there. Phones raised. Smiles spreading unnaturally. No music. No laughter. Just him. And when he finished, he bowed. That's when people noticed the strings. thin, almost invisible, stretching from his fingers into the crowd, attached to mouths, to eyes, to memories. Those connected smiled wider than anyone else. Police moved in. The clown looked directly at the camera and waved. Every screen in town flickered. And suddenly the broadcast wasn't live. It was us. Home footage. Birthday parties. School plays. Moments we didn't remember filming. Moments where the clown stood just off to the side. Always watching. A message appeared on screen, written in smeared red letters. You gave me your joy first. That's when the truth finally surfaced. The clown wasn't a man. It wasn't even a thing wearing skin. It was a collector. A parasite that fed on celebration, on laughter, on attention freely given. Every smile made it stronger. Every joke invited it closer. And children were perfect, because they smiled without question. The missing kids weren't dead. They were stored, preserved in reflections, in recordings, in memories siphoned out of the people who loved them. And now the clown was full enough to expand. That night, every mirror in town cracked at once. From inside the glass, hands pressed outward. Small hands, dozens of them, scratching, reaching. And somewhere beneath the sound of shattering glass, the clown laughed, not high and silly but deep and satisfied. Because the show was no longer for children. It was for everyone. The emergency alert didn't come from the government. It came from a child. Every phone in town buzzed at once, screens lighting up with a grainy video file that hadn't been there a second earlier. No sender. No timestamp. Just a shaky recording labeled, "Don't smile." The video showed a boy sitting on the floor of a bedroom, no older than 8. His face was streaked with tears, eyes red like he hadn't slept in days. Behind him was a mirror. Crack. Breathing. "You have to stop smiling," the boy whispered urgently. "That's how he knows you're still here." The mirror behind him rippled, like water disturbed by something moving underneath. "I tried to laugh," the boy continued, voice shaking. "I thought if I was happy he'd leave me alone. But that just made him closer." A red balloon floated up from the bottom of the frame. The boy didn't look at it. "If you see him," he said, "don't scream, don't smile, don't react. He feeds on recognition." The mirror split open. A white-gloved hand reached through and covered the boy's mouth. The video cut to black. After that, the clown stopped performing. Instead, it watched. People who forced themselves not to react lasted longer. Those who stared at the ground, avoided mirrors, covered their mouths with scarves or masks. Somehow they stayed solid. Others faded. It started subtly. A coworker's voice echoing faintly, like it came from the end of a hallway. A neighbor's shadow lagging behind their body. A cashier whose reflection smiled even though her face didn't. Anyone who smiled, really smiled, was gone within hours. Not dead, just thin. Like a memory stretched too far. I learned this the hard way. I was at home, curtains drawn, mirrors covered with sheets. I'd tape notes everywhere. Don't smile. Don't look back. Ignore the laughter. Then I heard it. A knock. Soft. Polite. 3 taps. I didn't move. Another knock. Slower this time. A familiar voice followed. "Hey," it said gently. "It's me." My mother's voice. My throat tightened. She'd been gone for years. "You don't have to be scared," the voice continued. "I just want to see you smile again." The doorknob turned on its own. I squeezed my eyes shut. Something cold brushed my cheek. Fingers, gloved and gentle, lifting the corners of my mouth. "Smile," it whispered. Pain shot through my jaw as I clamped my teeth together. I tasted blood. The air vibrated. The clown screamed. Not in anger, in fear. I opened my eyes just in time to see the room distort, colors warping like wet paint. The reflection in the covered mirror bulged outward, thrashing. The clown couldn't force it. It needed permission, consent, joy freely given. That was the key. Word spread fast. Refuse joy. Refuse recognition. The town became grim overnight. No laughter. No music. No celebrations. Faces blank, eyes down. The clown grew weaker. It began slipping, appearing half-formed. Its smile twitching, paint running like it was melting. But something else started happening. People began disappearing who had never smiled at all. The depressed, the grieving, the numb. They vanished quietly without mirrors cracking or balloons appearing. That's when we realized the truth. The clown didn't just feed on joy. It fed on absence too. It needed extremes. And now it was starving, desperate. That night, the final broadcast appeared. Every screen flickered on at once. The clown stood center frame. No makeup, no costume. Just a pale, stretched thing with hollow eyes and a mouth too wide to close. I only wanted what you offered, it croaked. Your laughter, your moments, your memories. The background shifted, revealing rows of mirrors behind it, each one holding a trapped face, screaming silently. Without me, it continued, you forget how to feel. The screen zoomed in on its face. And without you, I disappear. The signal cut. Outside, every mirror in town shattered simultaneously. Glass rained down like snow. The clown screamed one last time, then silence. Morning came. The town was still. Too still. People returned slowly. Some memories came back. Some didn't. Children were found wandering streets with no recollection of where they'd been. Others never returned at all. And in every home, one thing remained unchanged. No one could smile the same way again. Because deep down we all understood something now. Joy isn't harmless. Attention isn't free. And somewhere, in the spaces between reflections, something is still waiting. For the moment someone smiles without thinking. I left the town before the mirrors were replaced. People said the curse was over. They swept up the glass, boarded up the abandoned houses, repainted the school walls where laughter used to echo. Life resumed in a quieter, dimmer way, like a radio turned down but never fully off. They were wrong. The thing didn't die. It learned. I realized this 3 weeks after I moved. My new apartment was clean, modern, normal in the aggressively cheerful way real estate photos promise safety. White walls, large windows, a bathroom mirror so big it made the space feel twice as wide. I covered it the first night. Not with fear, out of habit. Sleep came poorly. Dreams stuck to me like cobwebs. Balloons drifting through hallways. The sound of fabric stretching too far. Laughter slowed down until it sounded like choking. On the 4th night, I woke up smiling. My cheeks hurt. That alone sent me upright in bed. I don't smile in my sleep. Never have. My jaw felt tight like it had been held in place for hours. When I reached up, my fingers brushed dried saliva at the corner of my mouth, as if something had been pulling. I checked the mirror. The sheet was still in place, but it was dented, pushed inward, like something had leaned against it from the other side. I didn't scream. I didn't react. I sat on the bed and stared at the wall until sunrise, repeating the rule that saved me once before. No recognition. No permission. The next day I noticed changes. Small ones. My reflection in shop windows blinked half a second too late. My phone camera glitched when I tried to use the front-facing lens. Emojis, smiling ones especially, refused to load, appearing as blank squares instead. At work, a coworker laughed at a joke and suddenly stopped mid-sound, face draining of color. Why did that feel wrong? She asked. I knew the answer. It wasn't hunting one town anymore. It was following patterns. Emotion spikes. Recognition loops. People who still believed joy was harmless. That night my phone buzzed. A video notification. No sender. No preview. Just a title. Smile check. I deleted it without opening. The lights flickered. The sheet over the mirror slid. Just a little, like a fingertip testing the edge of a door. A voice whispered from the bathroom, softer than breath. "You don't laugh anymore." I stayed still. "You don't cry," it continued. "You don't react." The pressure in the room increased. My ears popped. The air thickened, pressing down on my chest. "I miss your face," it said. I spoke for the first time since leaving the town. "You're not real." The voice paused. Then it laughed. Not loud. Not playful. Tired. "Oh," it said gently. "I'm only real when you look at me." The sheet dropped. The mirror showed my room. Empty. Then my reflection smiled. Slowly. Carefully. As if it was trying to remember how. I did the only thing left. I turned my back on it. The pressure spiked, then collapsed like something losing its grip. The mirror shattered. Not outward. Inward. Glass folding into itself, sucked into a darkness that snapped shut with a sound like a mouth closing. Silence followed. Real silence. The kind that doesn't listen back. I moved out the next morning. No forwarding address. No mirrors. No photos. No cameras facing me. And here's the part one don't tell people. The thing didn't vanish because we stopped smiling. It weakened because we stopped sharing ourselves. Joy, fear, attention, grief. Those are doors. And it learned long ago that it doesn't need to kick them in. It just needs you to open them willingly. Sometimes late at night, I feel it test the edges of my life. A joke that almost makes me laugh. A memory that almost hurts enough to cry. A reflection in dark glass that almost looks back. I don't give it anything, because I know now what it truly was. Not a clown. Not a monster. Not even a curse. It was a mirror that learned how to ask. And somewhere, someone is smiling right now, without realizing what just noticed them.